If you're thinking about buying a home right now, you've probably done what most Canadians do. You ask your parents, you ask your friends, maybe you ask a cousin who suddenly became a realtor or mortgage broker, and they all said the same thing. Yeah, you're good, you can afford it. Here's the problem. Most Canadians aren't taught how to figure out what they can actually afford. They're taught what the banks are willing to approve them for and what they qualify for. And in Canada, especially in 2026, those two numbers are wildly different. You see, banks qualify deals and work towards approving deals. They don't protect your lifestyle. That responsibility, in their opinions, falls directly onto you. In Canada, lenders qualify you based on your gross income, so before tax, before CPP, before EI, before real life shows up. Your bills, however, are paid with net income. And that mismatch is the reason so many people do everything right on paper and still end up house rich and cash poor. So instead of asking, what do I qualify for? The better question to be asking is, what monthly housing cost lets me live my life, save money, and sleep at night? That's the number that actually matters. That's the number you need to pay attention to. So here's the framework I use with clients when they're trying to get approved for a mortgage to buy a house. Your total housing costs shouldn't just be your mortgage. It should include things like your mortgage payment, your property taxes, condo fees, utilities, and heating. You should be tucking money away every single month for maintenance on the house in case something goes in case you need to replace your roof or get a hot water tank put in. The total should ideally be between 25 and 35% of your take-home pay. 25% is going to feel comfortable, 33% is a bit aggressive, and anything above that, well, in that case, something in your life is usually going to have to give. Now, banks, for comparison, are comfortable pushing this all the way up to 39% of your gross annualized income. In fact, some lenders, if you have 20% down, will push that even further, going to the 40 to 50% area, depending on the application. But gross income doesn't pay for your groceries. In 2026, most Canadians take home roughly 68 to 72% of their gross pay, depending on province, benefits, and deductions. If you're planning your life using your gross income, you're building in stress and pain points from day one. And that's before we even talk about self-employed income, which is a whole other conversation and kettle of fish. So I want to give you 3 Canadian income examples, just so you have them. Example 1, let's say you're making $75,000 a year. At $75,000 a year, your rough take-home is about $4,300 a month. At 33% of your total housing costs, that should be around $1,400 to $1,450. Most lenders will approve you for a payment closer to $2,200 or more. That gap, that's the danger zone. That's what you need to crucially understand when you're getting approved for a mortgage and looking at these numbers. Example 2 would be an income of $100,000. Your take home goes up to about $5,500. 33% of that is about $1,800 to $1,900 for housing. Many Canadians at this income level are approved for payments of $3,000 or more. Approved does not mean affordable. And finally, example 3, an annualized family income of $150,000. That means your take home is roughly $7,800 per month, and a healthy price range would be $2,500 to $2,700. Banks are going to approve you of north of $4,000. That doesn't mean you should go there. Now, layer in places like Vancouver, Toronto, or the Lower Mainland, property taxes matter. Utilities are higher. Condo fees can be anywhere from $600 to $800 a month. And then there's life. There's car payments, insurance, groceries, gas, childcare. When someone says, I'll just buy a condo because it's going to be cheaper than rent, the monthly math can sometimes disagree with that and often does. And land transfer tax, that's a silent affordability killer because if you've owned a house before or if you buy for a certain price point, you're going to have to pay 1% on the first $200,000, 2% on the balance, and anything over $1 million, it changes it again. It's expensive. Now, a common misconception is that interest rates are, the real problem here. And this is exactly why interest rates are not the real problem. Rates matter, but they aren't the core issue. The real risk is buying at the absolute edge of your affordability, pushing yourself to that maximum amount, giving yourself no wiggle room. And when you do that, you're essentially putting yourself in a position where rate changes are going to hurt more, job changes are terrifying, and life surprises can become financial emergencies, like having children and having your partner go on mat leave. The safest buyers aren't the ones with the lowest interest rates. They're the ones who understand their margins and understand their affordability. If you're watching this thinking, this feels impossible, take a breath. There are options. First, control what you can. Pay down high-interest debt. Build up an emergency fund. Increase income if possible. Second, remove the idea that homeownership is mandatory. Renting while saving and investing can be a strong move. Third, adjust your expectations. Smaller homes, different areas, longer timelines. That's not failure, that's planning. The real goal isn't just to buy a house because someone told you that you have to. The goal is financial stability. A home is a tool, not a trophy. And the Canadians who win long term are the ones who understand their numbers before emotions take over. If you're getting pre-approved this year, do this one thing. Build your budget on your net income, not your gross. My name is Myles Nowik, owner of the Nowik Mortgage Team, powered by Indie Mortgage. And if you want help walking through that, not just what you qualify for, but what actually makes sense for you and your lifestyle, there's a link below. Because buying a home shouldn't feel like surviving, it should feel like thriving.